What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How's it going? What's up, everybody? How we doing? Haven't been live in a little bit. It's been a busy week, man. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see. How's everybody doing? We got the Quad Box joining us tonight. Good to see y'all too. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? What's good, man? Good to see you guys too. Bang, bang. What's up? It's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Twin Jimmy G. Good to see you too. What's good, Smart Smooth? Where's the Raj merch? It's in the link in the bio. Check it out. We put it up today. I even got a team shop. You know what? I even got a team like a. If you go to my bio, sorry. If you go to my bio, not my bio, it's on my page. I can't even think straight today. I'm just like so tired. If you go to my page, there's View Shop. You go to View Shop. I got some merch in there. We'll be dropping more merch. These are the Trey area hoodies. You know, we got the little Trey area merch. All that cool stuff. So, got more merch on the way. I think we got the classic Trey area t-shirts if you want that. It's on my page. Just go to View Shop and go check it out. How can you get one of these hats? You go to Residency with it, and then you can get the hats. Appreciate it, Niners Media. What keeps me motivated every day to wake up early at work and live life? It's a good question. Keeps me motivated is the fact that, you got one life and you got to live it to the best. I got an amazing daughter. She's, 13. She'll be starting high school next year. So if I can't wake up and be happy about life, then she's not going to be happy about life. So I got to keep her motivated, keep myself motivated. I got a great job. I cover this great team for you guys. I got this great page, all the Niner fans. So, that's what keeps me motivated. It's just, I'm still a young guy. I'm 38 years old, relatively young. I got a good life. I can't complain. I got a great job. I cover this team. I run this page. And I have an amazing daughter and a lot of friends and family and stuff like that. So, and you know what else keeps me motivated? I can't wait to see Trey Lance silence all the damn haters out there. Let's talk about Trey Lance, man. Because these people, the media is hating on this boy. And you know what? The Road Dogs definitely keep me motivated every day. Shout out to the Road Dogs. My man Smitty is finally in the building. Let's go. Warriors in 3. It's a fucking 7-game series. Warriors in 5. Try to go to that series. What's up, my man?
We're live on YouTube.
We live on YouTube. Let's go, man. What's up? What's up, Smitty? Haven't seen you in a minute.
Trey Day.
I'm so tired this week. I'm tired. Let's talk about Trey Lance. Let's talk about Trey Lance, man. Let's talk about Trey Lance. Why isn't Debo practicing? Ain't nobody practicing. You know what? Leon O'Neal Jr. just tweeted out. He goes, when the hating stops working, they start telling lies. Keep grinding and being the best version of yourself every day. Oh, that's deep, man. I love Leon O'Neal. That tweet right there, take it to the grave. That's a great life lesson. Keep grinding and being the best version of yourself every day. That sounds something like I've said before. That's inspirational. What's up, man? How you feeling about all this Trey Lance?
Look.
Hey.
So, Trey Lance is such a fun topic for me because I love when people talk out of their rear end on topics because it makes them look like fools later. And Trey Lance, this is the same story. We've seen it told over and over and over again. You got Mahomes coming out his second year, a lot of haters. People forget, foggy memories. Oh, I liked Mahomes. Mahomes was very well liked. Mahomes was 50-50. It was Alex Smith, Mahomes, same situation as Jimmy G, Trey Lance. Like the backup was not as good as the guy coming in. And later on, everyone's going to tell a different story. But Trey Lance, he's every bit as talented as Joe Burrow was at the stage Joe Burrow got his opportunity. I'm not saying Burrow isn't the better quarterback right now. Burrow's the man. But Burrow walking into his sophomore year is the same as Trey walking into his sophomore year. That's what people don't comprehend. I'm not saying Joe Burrow, he had a whole nother year to go through what Trey's about to go through. So talking about Trey at the end of the year is going to be different than talking about Trey now. It's the growth, the progression.
Yeah,
But Joe Burrow coming in with a torn ACL, bad offensive line, no continuity yet in the offense. And I still thought they were going to ball out. Out of winning the division,
you
Raj. I talked
predicted
about it
him.
every single.
I remember that, Smitty. Yeah.
But Trey's got more weapons. He's got a better situation. He's healthy. Like he's in a better spot than Burrow was, who I predicted to win the division at this point at the beginning of his sophomore year than Joe Burrow was. It's going to be absolute madness. And people that are Niner fans that aren't on board what are they going to do, Raj? Where are they going to go when Trey Lance drops fire? What are they going to say? How are they going to support the man after all the hate and negativity they've thrown? How? Where?
He's started 2 games. Like I just don't get why people are hating on him. And then it's the media. And okay, the fans, whatever, they're going to sit there and listen to the media. And then you're right. When he shines and he's winning, they're going to be like, oh, Trey, oh. It's funny. It's like I posted today. I said, you pray for the uprise, not for the downfall. Why are we sitting here hoping the guy fails? Like, it makes no sense. It's silly to me. But you're absolutely right, Smitty. This is what I say, is the media, the national media is out there, and they're putting targets on him. They're sitting there, oh, Trey's underwhelming. There was one guy, did you see the report this morning? I think I sent it to you guys in the quad box, and I was laughing because they said that Trey is going to suffer from arm fatigue or like his arm athletic. Let me pull up the actual. I want to get it right. It was so I was like, what? It says that they're concerned about his arm fitness. This is a 22-year-old kid, and he's a gunslinger. He's athletic. I mean, to sit here and tell me that you're worried about his arm fitness, this guy he's 22. His stamina, he's gonna be so strong. I don't get some of these people. They make shit up. They just make stuff up. Because here's the thing. What do we always say, Smitty? People are looking for clicks and likes and they're trying to get their story across. It's the off season. They need something to write about. Oh, he left. Yeah, they just love to hate. They just love to hate. It's funny, man. It's weird. They just love to hate, and they talk about the most ridiculous stories. They just say stuff to say stuff. Like the fact that they're sitting here and saying that he has a weak arm or he's got poor arm fitness. That is literally one of his strengths, is that he's got a cannon of an arm. He can launch the ball through his different area codes. It just make sense to me, Smitty. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Who said it? Who said it, though?
Let me pull up the report.
What you do is you take that name and you put it immediately on the list of reporters you never listen to ever again. That's the dumbest thing to come out. Arm fatigue.
Ryan Harris. So Ryan Harris, he's a former offensive lineman turned broadcaster, and he says that the young Sidno caller has faced he says basically the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo is still on the roster doesn't help. Blah 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 blah. From players I've talked, this is what he says. From the players I've talked to and coaches I've talked to who are at the 49ers, Trey Lance isn't really leaving a lot to be desired in terms of the fitness of his arm. Get out of here. Whether or not he can digest the playbook and can really start to process the game at a high level. These people are just making did he talk to anybody relatively? The people are going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, I talked to this guy per a source. Remember we talked about this. It's lying season, Smitty. It's crazy to me because I feel like the Niners are a team that generate so much headlines, right? The Niners are a team, what have we talked about this whole offseason in terms of sports? The Niners have been at the top of the headline a lot, the Jimmy G situation, the Deebo Samuel situation. And now they're like, well, what do we talk about with the Niners? Oh, Trey Lance, he must not be ready. So we're going to go with these stories. It just makes absolutely no sense. No sense, dude.
But these guys aren't even worried about their reputation at this point. Who's going to follow somebody who says that Trey Lance is going to suffer from arm fatigue? You'd have to be completely inept to actually buy into that and without any tangible evidence whatsoever. There's nothing to support that that's even a topic of concern. and then you're going to come out and say that about a guy that hasn't even played. Like you.
We
Okay.
lost. So I want to talk about this arm. What's up, my man? Vodka Vlad, what's up? So I want to talk about this arm fitness situation. So he defined arm fitness. I've never heard it. I've never even heard of this term. He made this shit up. Arm fitness, and he
Who is
defined.
this? Who's this guy?
This is Ryan Harris, a former offensive lineman. I think he played for the Broncos at one point. So he says arm fitness. We're going to define the term arm fitness. He says it's the ability to consistently throw the football all season long and beyond the playoffs, right? He says the ability to consistently throw the football all season long and beyond to the playoffs. And he says this can be fixed through focused off-season training and a commitment to arm care. Like, he just make it like that doesn't even make sense to me.
I think this guy
Arm fitness.
I don't know who this dude is, Ryan Harris. I don't know who he works for, but he probably he needed something to write. His boss was like, bro, give me something. He's like, hey, I heard Trey Lance's arm isn't that good.
It sounds like a baseball term. This sounds like he's got poor arm fitness because he's been throwing 90-mile-an-hour fastball. It makes no sense. Smitty, you got the McDonald's Wi-Fi today. You need to fix that. You got Wi-Fi fitness. Poor Wi-Fi.
I think it's because I'm trying to do all this on YouTube too, so I don't know if it's having an issue with that. But yeah, I think that you take this person that writes something stupid like that, and you put them on your list of players, analysts, or writers that you no longer consider valid at all. You can't make that statement and come back from it. It's just like the statement. Who was it? That one guy, Dumbardo, whatever his name was. He said that he's continuously underwhelming Trey Lance. You say that, guess what? You're put in Smitty's bucket of I'll never trust you ever again. You are not a significant reporter whatsoever. You can't say stupid stuff like that. You can't get away with saying that Trey Lance is going to suffer from arm fatigue, which isn't even something you could come up with based on what you've seen out of Trey. It'd be one thing if Trey went through a full season and he slowed down and someone goes, look, I've got this theory here that when Trey, because he wasn't used to throwing as much and he's getting put in an offense that's throwing the ball like crazy, I don't know that his arm's ready for that. Something like that could make sense, but Trey literally hasn't played enough for you. You could say it's a negative if you want, whatever, but he hasn't played enough for you to make a determination that his arm is going to start to slow down. That's like saying that this reporter that turned lineman turned reporter, he's going to suffer from writing fatigue. And that's why he's probably reporting on this, because he's slowed down. He can't handle the rigors of an analyst and everyday reporter. So he's come up with this garbage take. Yeah. This is the dumbest take I've ever. This is probably the dumbest take I've heard the entire offseason. The dumbest thing.
It's a nonsense take because of that tweet. Because Mark Adams said, just to confirm, you're saying you spoke to current players and coaches who are concerned about Trey Lance, and can you define fitness of arm? Is that arm strength, accuracy? Is it something different? And that's when Ryan Harris came back and said arm fitness is the ability to consistently throw the football all season long and beyond to the playoffs. And then the next thing he said is this can be fixed through focused off-season training and a commitment to arm care, which basically says I made this up. And when you see the kid go live and his arm looks fantastic, I don't want to sound stupid. So we can just say he can work on it. He can work on it.
Yeah, they're just saying they're just going to say they're going to be like, oh well, he had the arm fitness problem, but he must have had a good off season of training. So I was right, because what he says, you're right. He ended that term with, oh, as long as he has a commitment to arm care and training, then that's his
arm care.
Yes.
What's he reading?
Oh, he must have had good commitment to arm. That's all I'm saying is that's what they're going to roll with. It's absolutely stupid. It's dumb. It is so stupid. Like arm fitness. When I saw this term today, I was laughing so hard. I was like, what are they even? They're not even making sense. They're just making up terms. You know what? Let's just start making up terms and throwing it out there and get clicked. That's what they're doing.
yeah, they're just let's open up a dictionary and just read from it. I know you know what it says on the back of Crest toothpaste. I memorized it when I was a little kid. Crest has been shown to be an effective DK preventive dentifrice that can be of significant value when used in a conscientiously applied program of oral hygiene and regular professional care.
Don't use
Does that
Crest.
make that? Yeah. I can memorize stuff
Myers.
too. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have any relevance. Stop reading from the dictionary, pal.
Per a
Yeah,
sword.
and then the other thing is like, of course you can say that about almost any rookie quarterback ever. Like, of course we don't know what his arm's going to look like over a full NFL season because he's never played a full NFL season. But like to go and be like, oh man, it's a concern. These Niners coaches, man, they won't stop talking about Trey Lance's arm fitness. Like, what, dude? Shut up. Go read a book.
So
Dude, I
fun.
think Trey Lance is going to be fine, dude. I think Trey Lance. You're gonna see the development over this year. This kid, from all accounts, that report that he got all the rookies' numbers and he texted all of them a year after being drafted. Like, the guy gets it, man. Whatever it is, we'll see. Like I said before, is he gonna have Patrick Mahomes's 2018 season when he first get? We can't say he could. We could. But we can't. You don't want to go out there and say like, yeah, he's gonna throw 58 touchdowns because then no. He's 21 years old. But
22.
the kid, 22 now. He's gonna be 22 going into the season. But the kid's got all the ability. He seems to have the mental makeup to know the situation he's in, the brevity of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the starting quarterback for the San Francisco fucking 49ers. It's no joke. Like, it's a big deal. It's a big franchise. So like it carries weight, and the kid seems like he knows what he's doing. We're gonna see. We're gonna see the development, dude. Kyle Shanahan, for everything we say about him, the guy has a scheme, boy. His play calling is nuts, and the talent is forever. The talent on this team is limitless. It's just, can they put it together?
Yeah. They got a lot of talent. You're right. George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Debo Samuel, Elijah Mitchell. They got Trent Williams. He's in a good position. Like we've talked about, Smitty. He's absolutely entering a great position. I know there's some question marks on the O-line, which we've talked about. But I think if those young guys that they have can step up, they're going to be great. And I think a lot of the guys they drafted were for that future to pair with Trey Lance. This is a draft class the last 2 years that they're building this team with Trey Lance in mind. At quarterback, Ty Davis-Price, Trey Sermon. You got, Aaron Banks. If these guys pan out and they build around Trey, then this is the team that you have for several years down the line. So plus all the solid stars that they already have established. So I think they're fine. One thing we got to talk about, and global, Trey Lance's favorite player or number one fan, Global Freeze, he loves Trey Lance. We all know that. He said he pointed to it texting the rookies Super Bowl, right? Trey Lance, though, I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's silly. Most quarterbacks do that. Not everybody does that. Trey Lance.
Mentality.
Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, Ryan Tannehill, perfect example. He asked for all the numbers of the rookies, and he welcomed to the team. He was out there at rookie minicamp last week, and he wanted to see how they were doing. He met with them. That's a leader, man. Whether you want to hear it or not, he's a leader. 22 years old, and he already has that leadership mentality. Ryan Tannehill can't even sit there and talk to Malik Willis. Like, that's silly, dude. It's absolutely silly. So I love Trey Lance's mentality. Jimmy texted him last year, so he's going to pay it forward to the other rookies. He learned some good, skills in terms of leadership, and now Trey showing he's a young leader at 22 years old. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, and another thing too, real quick, backtracking, and then on that point, I'll add something. But this guy Trey Lance, that has supposed arm fatigue. Wouldn't you throw a lot of INTs in college if maybe you had arm fatigue, you were slowing down, the ball was falling short? Like, this guy had 20 passing touchdowns, 0 INTs, 14 rushing touchdowns, 0 INTs, no turnovers. And you're telling me he has arm fatigue. It's absolute madness. And then to this other point of texting players and rookies, look, there's a mentality of a quarterback. And I know this is going to sound weird, but in covering this position from a long period of time, you notice when a quarterback has that it factor, and when they don't. And it's weird. I know it sounds weird, but you traditionally can say by a vibe and just by the way they carry themselves whether they're going to be successful. Maybe not 100%, but it's like a 90% type of thing. If you got a radar for it and you're looking at like a Zach Wilson, dude, Zach Wilson has it. He has the moxie. He carries himself. He's got the Tom Brady type of attitude. Dak had it, which is why we knew Dak was going to come in and be a good quarterback. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in the world. Russell Wilson had it from the beginning. You could just tell. Like Trey Lance has it. When everybody started talking about Drew Lock, and people might make fun of this in here and act like they didn't think Drew Lock was going to be good. There was a lot of hype on Drew Lock in Denver initially, a lot. And you could tell he didn't have it. I got ripped apart for saying, you look at this guy on the sideline, dancing, like he had no leadership qualities on the sideline or just the way he carried himself. To be a quarterback in the NFL, you need to have a certain confidence level and ability to command not only people around you, but an entire ship. And you can tell when people have that. Now, whether the talent's going to follow suit or not, I can tell you Trey Lance has that ability to command people and the team. He totally has it.
I agree. He does. He has the it factor. Again, he's already proven he's wise beyond his years. He seems like a good stable kid. Like, he was raised right. He's got a good head on his shoulders. I just think that he's set up for success, and I think he wants to have success. Like, he's been doubted his whole life. He's one of those players, the story how it goes. Doubted. They didn't want to be a quarterback. No big school was going to take him in. He proved himself. He wowed everybody. Number 3 pick in the draft now, and then now he's being doubted again because he didn't get to play last year. Did the Niners really want him? Oh, now there's arm fatigue. They're not. It's the same song and dance. At the end of the day, when he comes out there and he shines, I don't want people that were bashing him to sit there and say, "Oh, see, Trey Lance." It's just
like Global.
Yeah.
You know you're going to do it, Global. You know you're going to come in and say, "I've always liked him. I just thought Jimmy was a veteran and it was a good. I've always liked Trey." You know you're going to come in and do that because you have no other play.
He says he's rooting for him, so let's hope he's rooting for him. A lot of people are starting to change their song and dance. It's okay. That's how it works. That's how it works. But
Global, we'll let him come in now.
At the end of the day, man, there's just too many people that are so negative. I don't get the negativity. I don't know. It's just weird, man. It's just weird how people already are going to bash the kid. Oh, people calling him a bust and stuff. He's played 2 games. Like, there's a lot of players that didn't even start their first year or 2, as a quarterback, and it's
2 good games.
Yeah. What's that?
Good games.
Yeah, exactly.
2 good games too. Like, he played good. He won that Houston. The Texans were one of the better defenses in the league. Like at that time, they had beat the Bengals. They were coming in. Everyone laughs at the Texans. The Texans had a lot of upside, and they had a lot of ability to beat off any team and knock off any team at all.
He was a rookie. It doesn't even matter who you play. When you're a rookie,
yeah.
Tough for you. Honestly, any team is tough because you're a rookie in the NFL and you're still learning. And the quarterback is the hardest position to play in the NFL. The hardest position to play in the NFL is quarterback. And he was 21 years old at the time. Like, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of, responsibility for a 21-year-old man to have at that point of his life, So that was a lot of pressure. And he got better as the game went on, as the season went on. And he's probably training his ass off. And really, I'm just excited for the season because I want him to prove himself and show everybody, like, look, this is why I was drafted. I'm going to show everybody what I've got. And I think he will. And everybody's going to be like, oh, man, this kid is something. He's going to have some ups and downs, of course. Every young quarterback does. Every young player does. Josh Allen struggled. Patrick Mahomes, he had a few times where he's like, oh, my God. But once they hit that potential and everything kind of clicked, it's like, holy moly, this guy is so great. All the quarterbacks struggle at some point. But I think Trey's going to be a special player. I feel like you're right. He has that it factor.
Easy.
Great.
Yeah,
he does.
You gotta have that. You can still need suffer from not having the talent or whatever, but you have to have the it factor. You could feel it. He command, like, just the calling the rookies, that ability to command, the desire to want to be the leader of all the men in the locker room. And, like, that's Brady, that's all these great quarterbacks do. It's why I struggle with Kyler, because Kyler doesn't have that ability to command yet. I'm not saying he can't get there. I'm not saying I'm not rooting for him. As a Cardinal fan, I'm rooting for him. But like, you don't see that, and that's why the Cardinals haven't paid him yet. Is because he doesn't have the commanding leadership quality yet.
I don't.
And
Yeah, I
hopefully he
don't
gets
know.
there.
I don't know if he doesn't have the ability to command because he
True.
is a quarterback. It's just I don't know if he has the desire.
Yeah.
It's that like you have to want to be the leader. To be like I said, like, dude, you're the starting quarterback. That's huge anywhere. Any team, if you're the starting quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars, that's a big deal. Billions of dollars behind you. There's tons of people's jobs, all this stuff happening behind the scenes, and you're like at the helm of the organization. So when you're the starting quarterback for the Niners and they traded 3 first-round picks and drafted you in the third overall, or when you're Kyler Murray and a team went back-to-back and drafted you first overall and the coach went out and grabbed the microphone and said, this is my guy, the expectation is that you're going to want to be that guy. And Trey Lance seems like he wants to be that guy. Kyler Murray, I don't know if he wants to be that guy. I think he just wants that paycheck.
I think Kyler wants to be that guy, but he wants to be that guy that's getting paid, and that's what it's coming down to. He wants the bag, and I think that's what it's coming down to, and it comes down to that with a lot of players. And I think Debo wants to be that guy that gets paid.
That
I
guy
think
gets paid.
that's okay. These players, they work their ass off. They want that guaranteed money. The good news about it for Kyler Murray is it doesn't affect me. I could care less because he's on the Arizona Cardinals. That's their problem. That's Smitty's problem. That's not my problem. We have Trey Lance, great young quarterback, about to be on the rise, and I'm excited for him to come in and prove himself and silence the haters, right? Pray for the uprise, not for the downfall. I'm all here for it, man. I love
Yeah.
I love when the media sits there and they hate because they look so stupid and they look so dumb, and I get content out of it because I keep the receipts, and then in a couple weeks, in a couple months, we get to, post those receipts, and they're going to look like dummies, and it's going to be great for me. So that really is all. I'm happy because their shitty content is going to be great content for people like me. So keep it up. Keep the shitty content coming to all the big media out there. I know they watch us sometimes.
And I can't
Keep
wait.
coming,
I can't.
baby.
I can't wait for the excuse. The number one excuse. Okay, so here's the Trey Lance hater right now. He's not ready. He can't read defenses. Jimmy G's a veteran. We should get him out there. Okay, so then Trey works out. What are they going to say? I'm sorry, I'm wrong. No, they're going to say situation. He got handed. Of course, he's going to do well. He's got this Niners situation. The Arsenal's just out of this world. He would be so bad. Fields is better. Mac Jones is better. If they were on this team, that's all you're going to hear.
That's all you're going to hear.
Whatever. Like, enjoy the show. Get your popcorn out. And I really have no doubts about him at all. And I even don't even agree. And I know I'm overly optimistic. That's why you guys call me Trey's agent. I don't even agree that there'll be these struggles like that. I know every player goes up and down, but I think that he's going to, like we've seen, remedy everything that's wrong pretty much in game. Like, he's learning. He's going to learn in game. Like, is he going to throw an INT? Absolutely. But will he, I think, struggle in a big stretch of games? I don't think so. I think his struggles will be very compartmentalized. Like, I really think this team, if you can carry Jimmy G into an NFC championship, carrying you is not even the right word because Trey will carry the team. The team will carry Trey. Trey will carry the team. It'll be a back and forth relationship. But if Jimmy G can be carried into an NFC championship, I think the struggles are going to be so much less than people think. And, the idea of him having a Mahomes, I'm not saying Mahomes is numbers, but the idea of having this unbelievably successful sophomore year is not crazy. It's not that uncommon. Herbert, Burrow, even examples like Kurt Warner coming in with his first season ever, his first game. These things happen all the time. And for people to act like a player can't come in as a sophomore, even if he only played 2 games, and deliver amazing production all year long, to act like that's, something that can't be found. It's a total anomaly. It's not. It's very common. In fact, if you look at history, the top quarterbacks break out by this time. They usually are what they are. They get a little better, obviously, but you know what they are by the year 2. Like, it's not something you wait on year 3 or 4 anymore. They deliver right away.
I mean, it's really You're right, but it is player to player because when you like,
Yeah.
bro, like Tom Brady had 3 Super Bowl rings before he could be considered a good quarterback. Like if you really look at his numbers and you look at what he did, it wasn't until he was 26 in 2006 where you were like, oh, this guy's legit. You know what I mean? Trey, I don't, I get what you're saying. Trey can do that. He can take that next step. I just think it's too much to put those expectations on guys that are this young because what it does is it makes it like, oh, well, you didn't do that at 22, so you'll never do that. And it's like, well, no, he's 22. He could have that Mahomes year when he's 25 and still have another 10 years in the NFL,
Yeah.
which is
I'm not saying he
insane.
can't.
You know what I'm saying? But no, all I'm saying is like what the expectations for him should be is don't look stupid. Don't look lost out there. Don't
But
look like you don't. Right. No, I get
that's
it.
a
I
low
get what you're
bar, though,
saying.
Vlad. I
But
don't
dude,
need
he's
that bar. Like, he's
22.
gonna
He's
ball. He's gonna
22 in his
ball. But
for
I don't
sure.
care.
I totally
But I don't
agree.
care.
Smitty,
But I
I'm
don't
gonna
care.
ball out,
But
but let's
Bro,
pump the brakes a little
you
bit.
also, Smitty,
I don't need
you
to break
have
the
to
brakes.
also understand, Smitty, this offensive line is ass.
They got some ways to go.
It's not good. So you're putting you have Trent Williams, maybe Alex Mack. If Alex Mack comes back, you have 2 legit out of 5. The other 3,
It's the same thing with the D-backs, though, bro.
but it's not though. It's not the
It
deep.
was from
No,
last year. From last year, you guys were complaining every week
no,
about the
no. It's
defensive
not.
backfield.
It's
It,
different
it,
because the defensive backfield last year they had the guys, they just weren't proven. This offense, bro.
Do you really
Bro,
think they don't feel like they have the personnel in place to coach up or get what they need? Like, do you really
yeah.
think they just completely ignored it? Like, I mean, this is a organization that builds strangely at a few positions,
I
Also,
and
don't know if
off
I think
offensive
that
line
the
is
O line
one.
can be good and they have the talent they want there, but they're young. They have to kind of get there. O line is a very hard position to get in there and figure it out, and a lot of injuries can occur. There's a lot of question marks. And last year, secondary was an issue because there was injuries and we didn't have good depth. This year, secondary is by far better, and the guys that we had there that were depth were very young and under, not developed. Just kind of like our O line, they're young, they're not developed yet. So we're kind of in the same predicament with the O line compared to that cornerback situation. But the thing with the defense is if you have a solid defensive line up front, it can kind
mm-hmm.
of some deficiencies there, which the Niners did. Their front seven was amazing. Now, the 49ers O line, I think they can be good because they have a lot of good young players, and I'm excited about them. But to have a young quarterback and a young O line, you're going to really lean on that running game. You got to hope that Elijah Mitchell stays healthy. You got to hope that the other guys can really step up and help
Yeah,
them out. So, and
Bro,
I get it. I think Trey Lance is going to have a fucking amazing season, but there will be some moments where he's going to, like, they go up against some tough players. Aaron
yeah,
Donald,
that right side,
there's some tough games there.
but
Let's
that
be honest.
right side is
but
rough.
But I will say that for all the deficiencies that appear to be there now, based on the offensive line, like the losses, right, and not filling those holes the way that maybe you or I would have if we were in charge of this draft or whatever. But the fact that Trey Lance is mobile, the fact that you will see fewer box counts on the regular,
Yeah,
it's going to spread the defense out, and
yeah.
Trey's mobile, so you're going to, in a way, have a facade of an improved offensive line the minute Trey steps on the field. It's
Yeah,
kind of like when Kurt Warner came to Arizona. I use this example all the time. Cardinals had a trash offensive line. Kurt Warner came to Arizona, and literally his quick release and the spread out attack made it to where we didn't have an offensive line problem. Like, it went away because the defense was spread out completely. Less box counts, smaller. It's going to be consistent. It's going to be more spread out constantly. Trey is going to be like a big piece of why the offensive line functions better. So, like, even if you didn't improve it at all, it would improve naturally through just the existence of Trey Lance. But I will say that again, if you take last year, remove, and I think everything is relative. I think that you had some losses, you've had some gains. I think the Niners team as a whole is the same, like as it was last year, minus the Trey Lance part. So you take Jimmy G out, you put Trey Lance in. it's there. I'm not expecting struggles. I'm expecting, and I know, Vlad, you want me to pump the brakes on it, and I get that, but I look at it from just a little bit different angle. I'm trying to, yes, I'm being a little bold, and I'm saying something that is uncomfortable until it happens. And you're right, the expectation. I think a lot of people want a lower expectation, but I just can't control myself, Vlad.
No,
I'm picturing this season to look very much like Herbert's second year,
I'm not
where people
saying
are
it
like,
can't.
holy shit.
I think Smitty made
I'm
some
not.
great because and I think I like what you're saying. His mobility is gonna take pressure off the O line. I think is what you're saying,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
It's
Eric Davis.
just. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I get it, and I agree with you, dude. Because just like you said last year, Chase on that Bengals offense did a lot more than Penny Sewell would have. But at the end of the day, when my worry is you have this kid run around and he gets hit, so I just look at it like the right side of that offensive line, it's scary, man. McGlinchey, you don't know what he's going to look like. That you don't know who's the right guard. No clue. You're hoping Aaron Banks steps in at left guard. We'll see. We don't know. We're hoping Alex Mack comes back. I'm hoping Alex Mack comes back because that's what he really needs. Is he needs a strong center to help him calm and set that line before snaps. You know what I'm saying? I get what you mean, dude. Trey
I know.
Lance's ability and Ayuk and Kittle and this scheme, dude, we can be putting up 40 burgers every week. No
Yeah,
joke.
you can't stack the box the same way.
You
will never
can't play.
If Jimmy, like, let's say we're to put Jimmy out there right now as the offense stands, you would have a big problem running the football. You would be consumed, and it would collapse on this man. But Trey back there, you're going to average a whole half a yard more per carry out of the running backs alone, not to mention Trey Lance's running will up that, that average. But if you just look at Mitchell and the running backs, I believe you'll average like a half a yard more per carry because things will be that much spread out. Everything's going to be just this. Everyone's going to be just a touch more open because Trey Lance commands attention, defensive attention. You're focused on, you have to have somebody eyeballing Trey Lance at all times. That's one less rusher. That's one less person that can do damage elsewhere. And I just think it's going to be harder to double team players. That's why Gray is going to be, if Shanahan's smart and uses Gray on the field all over the place, you will not be able to double team Gray even if you want to. Even if he has 150 yards and 2 touchdowns the game prior, you cannot go in and double team Gray, especially if he's in the slot. Why did Cooper Kupp never get double teamed? Because he's in the slot. They move him around all over the field. There's no solution for it when you're a speedy guy that can knife all over the field. So I just think that all these things will have a trickle cascading effect. The fact that Gray's out there racing around, the fact that you have all these weapons firing on all cylinders and a running game averaging a half a yard per carry more, it just makes it to where this offensive line is just going to gel more than people think. I get your concern. You make very valid points. If Trey got hurt or wasn't in there, it would be 100% my biggest concern.
That's some good
100%.
points. I want to see if Eric Davis wants to come in because I'm sure he has some thoughts on this. His comment on the bottom, he says, Trey's presence alone will improve the O-line and running game. So it's kind of in line.
I agree with that.
I mean, I definitely think that'll help the running game or it'll help the O-line and the running game. Because
I just look at pass protection.
And I think that's where, like you said, the pass protection is it's kind of been, but because Jimmy wasn't mobile, right? And if Trey can read the defense and he can make those, those plays where he's like, okay, that's coming at me, and he can make the move to run away and escape the pressure and throw the ball away when he needs to, then they're fine. Because I think that's what happened with Jimmy is he didn't have that deep pass and he didn't have that mobility to escape that pressure all the time, especially after the ACL. So it was kind of like he was stuck. He was, like they said, a statue. So he had to take the sack, unfortunately. Where I think Trey Lance, he does have that ability to, like, okay, he's got that escapability where if the defense is crashing in on him, he can make that executive decision, say, okay, I got to tuck this and run. Like he can.
Pop it outside.
He's a passer first. but he's a passer with the ability to tuck and run if he needs to. And that's a great reason of why they got him, because he has that extra mobility, which is so nice to have. It makes the offense a little bit dynamic, but I do agree that the O-line does have to protect that time. Like, it's not just like, oh, you have this guy, it's overnight, like, overnight success. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to.
In the NFL, to be successful in the NFL consistently over long periods of time, you need to take the ball, stand in the pocket, and complete passes. However you want to make it, wherever else you can bring to the table, if you can do escapes and you can, get plays to go longer and find the open man, that's great. But you have, like, the end of the day, you have to stay in the pocket and make passes. And if the pocket collapses around, I have no idea what Michael Glitchy is going to look like with torn quads. I don't know who plays the right guard. These are things that it's tough. Like, I'm hoping everything's fine, and I know Trey's going to make things better. Dude, this team looked fantastic with Jimmy. It's going to look better with Trey. But I'm not going to say he's going to throw 54 touchdowns and lead the league in passing. He's 22. Let the kid, let him build. He's 22.
22. What's up, Eric? How you doing, man?
What's happening? What's happening, fellas? Yeah. You know what? I agree that to have prolonged success in the NFL, the quarterback has to be able to stand in the pocket and throw the ball. But you have to add to that, when you have a certain skill set and certain players around you, defenses have to then play you a certain way, which means you don't have to stand in the pocket and throw it as often. And when you are standing in the pocket throwing it, again, the defenses have to play you differently. Think early. See, the way I'm looking at Trey is early Russell Wilson. See, and what that morphed into. What I mean by that, early on, Pete Carroll would have slit his throat before he would let Russell Wilson take over a game.
Yeah.
He would have cut his own wrist. I was calling the games for the Niners then when they were playing. He was not going to let him throw the ball. But defenses, as he learned to read defenses, as he learned the progressions of the offense and what he could and could not do, now what never left that offense was the fact that you always had to worry about Russ running the ball. You still do. And you had to worry about beast mode. So the way teams played defensively allowed for the run game to be better, the offensive line to be better, and for the reads for the quarterback to be a whole lot easier, because you always had to pay attention to that. I kind of think you're going to get the same thing with Trey and Mitchell. Yeah. I really do believe you're going to be able to get that. You have to pay attention to the fact that he can run the ball. Doesn't mean you have to call it. But being a defensive player, being over there, I know that my coordinators would say we have to account for the fact that this guy can house us. You're just going to. And the problem with that is that you don't design defenses to stop the quarterback once you get out of high school or Division II football, because no one's running the triple option, even read option teams. You're not going to build your defense to stop the quarterback because you're wasting a player. And you can't do that in the NFL. Guys are too good. So I think it's going to allow him to get out there and learn to play the game. And I think they're going to be a double-digit team. Now, I mean, I've heard a double-digit win team. I've heard guys talk about, 13, 14 wins. I wouldn't go that far. But I think they can win 10.
I think you said last week about 10. I had us at about 11. Some people are saying 13, 14. Like, I still think that's a little much, but hey, I'd love it, of course.
I got 14 games, man. 13, 14 games is a lot to win for anybody.
That's crazy.
It's hard to win a football game in the NFL.
Yeah, especially with the young quarterback. I think maybe when Trey's even better, 13, 14 should be easy. But I think this year, 11 is a safe bet, I think, for this team.
13, 14tion is never easy. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
One thing I love
never easy. Never easy.
You guys did it all the time, man.
Trey's ability to extend the play.
Yeah.
Trey's ability to extend a play is just unbelievable. There's upside for it too. Like he's going to learn to do it better and better. But like Raj, we're talking about he can tuck and run, but he's a quarterback that can not only tuck and run, but then throw again before he even decides to fully commit to that run. We saw that on that Debo touchdown. And it's like extending the play is going to be another piece of why I think the offense will be so much better than people expect, because he can literally, throw the ball from the pocket, any platform, whatever, run the ball, and then while he's running, find the open wide receiver and extend the play. He's going to be a difference maker in that regard. He's not just a runner. He wants to throw even when he's running. That's the point I guess I'm trying to make, which is awesome.
You know what? There are some quarterbacks that scramble to run. There are other quarterbacks that always scramble. I hate throwing these names out here because people start saying that you're trying to compare the guy to it. But I'm just saying the style. Brett Favre was never trying to run the ball. He would scramble, extended plays. He was never trying to run the ball. Aaron Rodgers, he is scrambling to throw the ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know that's what's happening. You know when Drew Brees was moving around, he's not thinking about running it. He can, but that's another factor that plays into a defense's mindset, that I know that this guy can run, but I also know that he can rip one across the field, at the goalpost height for 50 yards. And when you don't have, and see, that's the part that people don't realize. See, when you're up in the stands watching and they throw the ball and you see this long pass, if it's got a lot of air under it, if it's a rainbow to a DB, that's delicious. I mean, it's a snack. I'm going to make up that time while the ball's in the air. But, I remember, like, Jeff George, Brett Favre, they would throw a freaking ball back in their day. Mm-hmm. Jeff George would throw a freaking ball 60 yards, and it wouldn't get higher than the goalpost.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
It was a freaking laser. Wow. It was a laser. He was an asshole, and people didn't like him. Yeah. But he could throw. He had one of the he could spin the ball pretty as anyone who's ever played the game. But when you have no air under the ball like that, like Trey has the ability to do, again, that's going to change how you play him when he starts scrambling. And I think he's the type that will scramble to throw, not scramble to run.
Exactly.
Yeah. He reminds me a lot, and I know a lot of people hear the comp, whatever. I don't like comparing players either, but he reminds me a lot of that Josh Allen style, where he's got this big arm and he can use it anywhere, and he's athletic enough to move and makes everybody else move on defense, and then he just lets it go. And it's like,
and there you go. And you will always catch one guy sleeping. Always. It's no matter how much the coaches tell you this guy can run, pay attention to it. It's going to happen. Guys are always going to, there will always be this defensive back that decides, I'm going to stop this quarterback from getting the first down.
Yeah.
And then the wide receiver knocks himself out on the goalpost.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. Like, it's like playing against like Russell Wilson. We use this guy all the time. Like you said, how many times the Niners sat there and play and you thought you had him, but he'd be able to escape, and everybody crashes in on him, and then what is he doing? He's still scanning the field, and he throws that rope, and you're like, oh my God, every time it's a backbreaker for the defense. And I think Trey has that ability. Another guy back in the day, Steve McNair, he was a tough physical runner, but he would run so he could extend the play and find someone open. And I think that's what Trey's going to do. But if he needs to tuck it and run, I think he can. But he's not like a Lamar Jackson where he's looking to run first. I don't think he is. So it's going to be fun, though.
Yeah, without question. No, go ahead.
I was going to say it's going to be an interesting season. It's going to be interesting to play Russell Wilson when he's part of the Denver Broncos. They did a good job. Denver, take hats off to them. They did a good job going and getting him. They still stack their defense. They have a good pass rush still with Chubb. Like, Jamal, I mean, Williams, Smitty will tell you all day about their running backs. Denver's running back. Javonte Williams.
Gonna explode.
Yeah, Denver. I think Denver's gonna have a pretty good squad this year because number one, you got Russ. That's the most important position on the team, and you got Russ. And I don't care what anyone feels about him or what they think. He knows how to win football games.
Yeah.
He knows how to instill. He knows how to instill that belief in his offense. And also, I can tell you, I know firsthand, he gives defensive coordinators nightmares because of the things that we're talking about. He can extend plays. He's accurate. He has a strong arm. He's smart. He knows how to work, when to run, how to do these things. But then he's not going to try to play that bully ball and let you blow him up. You're not going to get this big shot on him. Emmitt Smith told me one of the smartest things that someone ever taught him, and something that he had to learn. And one of the old head running backs told him. He said he was taught, you got to know when the journey is over and to sit your ass down if you want to play a long time. Russ understands that. Hopefully Trey knows that now. Because the first time he got out there, what did he do? This is not North Dakota State. He tried to run over a defensive back and got his ass knocked off.
He got eaten alive. Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. He almost got his leg knocked off. Okay. It was basically RG3 when Haloti Nada almost knocked his leg off.
I was scared.
You can run around like sooner or later you're going to run into somebody who can hit harder than you think. I think Trey knows that, but that's where Russ has all of that, man. So Denver, they did a really good job grabbing him. I know why Pete was ready to do that. That's Pete worked better with young guys. That's a whole different conversation. We don't need to have a Pete Carroll conversation.
Okay, I'll believe you on that one. There's some tension there, is what you're saying, huh? With the old.
No, there's not even tension. Pete Carroll is a rah guy. He's a young player guy. He's a teacher. Pete Carroll's one of the best coaches I ever had. He's great. One of the absolute best coaches. He is a teacher. Pete Carroll is directly the reason why I went from a good player to an all-pro player. Yeah. He taught me how to hone in on my skill set. This is what you do well. This is what you can do every single snap. He's that way across the board as a teacher, but you reach a point to where you've heard it. And you realize, okay, I've heard that story. I know what's going on. I know what you're doing. I also know I see everything that you're doing. And you realize that, okay, Pete is more important to Pete than anything else. That's okay. As long as you know how to deal with it. Most coach, remember, every coach out there, you're dealing with an alpha male.
Yeah, they got an ego, all of them.
You cannot become a head coach of an NFL team and not be an alpha male. And if you do sneak in that door, trust me, it's going to show up quickly.
So you think that he's okay with taking Drew Lock because he wants to teach him and mold him into something that he thinks he can, other than Russ? Because Russ, he's taught everything he could teach to Russ. So do you think the Seahawks, I don't know, I guess general manager, did the right thing of keeping Pete over Russ, or should they have went the opposite way?
And not so much as that everyone's looking at this as a Drew Lock, Russell Wilson situation. No, it's the rest of the team. It's the others. You got all of these other young guys and you're trying to do all of these things. So Pete wants to get back to telling his stories and doing his things and his rah-rah and all of this and everything. But when you have Russ sitting there, he runs the building. They're going to follow his lead. Your quarterback is your de facto leader. That's why you guys worry from time to time about Jimmy G staying on the team. Because there's just a certain amount of respect that you're going to have for that guy that's won. Remember all these young boys coming into the fold, they grew up watching Russ.
Yeah.
They've seen Russ play. They're going to listen to Russ. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for any coach to try and take the megaphone out of his hand. So that's why you got to when you decide to start over, you got to get rid of all of the voices. Whenever you're in a rebuild.
Is that maybe a flaw in his coaching, though? Like, I'm just saying, you say he's a great coach, and I agree with a lot of what you said on that. But, like, to not be able to navigate that avenue, like, when you have – because Russ, like, getting rid of Russ was not, in my opinion, if Pete Carroll's got a lot of time on his hands, he's going to coach a lot longer. It makes sense, I suppose. But, like, why not try and navigate those waters the best you can to win? Because they had the players – if you kept building upon that team, you'd have the players to, I think, have a very competitive team. I don't know that they're going to. I like Kenneth Walker. I love the running game. I think they're going to have some success there, but Locke's not the answer. Maybe they bring in
Yeah.
another quarterback next offseason right away, and it changes everything. And DK's there, so it could rebuild very quickly. But do you think that maybe that's something he could work around and should have worked around versus getting rid of Russ? I don't know.
Bill Belichick got rid of Tom Brady over $25 million.
You beat me to it. I was just about to tell you why, because you know you're starting that rebuild. And
Yeah.
coaches,
Okay.
so when I walk up to the owner, I'm sitting there with the president. I'm sitting there with the owner. I mean, Pete, the only person Pete has the answer to is the owner. So when you're sitting there with the owner and you're saying, okay, and coaches do this, trust me, they look at their roster. So everyone's talking about guys going to training camp and these battles and what's going to happen. No, you're going to look at your roster and you know if you have a roster that can compete or not. You know if you have a roster that has an opportunity to make the playoffs or not. You know if you have a roster that has a chance to compete for a championship or not. So now the question is, what does ownership care about? Does ownership care about just winning games, or does ownership care about championships? So Pete is in a place where, okay, can we compete for a championship? No. Are we a couple of players away from a championship? Does free agency get us there? No. Then how do we get there? We got to start this over. So that's what happens.
you
Belichick did the same thing.
Equation, because like you said, they have the megaphone. The coach isn't going to be able to coach because the players are going to listen to Tom Brady.
Yes.
Or Russ.
I got to start this all the way over.
Yeah.
I got to get back into that. Let's build this up. Let's build this camaraderie. We got to come up with the next Legion of Boom. We got to build these guys up and let them understand what it means to wear these colors. And to do that, we got to go all the way back to the beginning. Guess what? Russ and Bobby Wagner and all, they're not going to do that.
Yeah, that's why you're right. The veterans leave.
They've done it.
They've done it.
They've done it.
So that's what happens, man. And they don't think about the fact that it's going to take a few years because the ownership, they know, wait a minute, this works. We know this is our system. We know it works. You've taken me to 2 Super Bowls. You've been a consistent winner. I know it works. So they're going to give them the opportunity to do it. That's what happens.
It makes sense.
Football's not that complicated.
Going on the same idea. So now we'll bring us to the Niners. We kind of in a similar situation. I guess you have a young quarterback, Trey Lance. And I'm not saying Jimmy Garoppolo is in the same sentence of Russell Wilson or Tom Brady, obviously, but he's well respected in the locker room. The players love him, right? We all know that. Now, do you think that this could be a reason why the media is saying, oh, he might not be ready because they haven't got rid of Jimmy or just cut him or whatever? Do you think that's kind of why people are circling around the whole Trey's not ready and all those reports, or different?
Well, everyone's going to use the fact that Jimmy was hurt and Trey didn't play.
Yeah.
That he went to a small school. So all of these type things, and they still haven't gotten rid of him. So that's the reason why he's not ready. Guys, nobody's ready until they get on the field.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So is Trey ready to start? Yes, Trey is ready to start. I'll tell you why. Because they're going to put him out there. That's how it works. No one knows if they can play in the NFL until they touch the field. It's that simple. So is Trey ready to play? Yes. He's the starting quarterback. He better be. He has no choice. They're going to put him out there. Is he ready to play, and is he a Hall of Famer? Is he going to have an all-pro season? Those are different questions.
Yeah.
He has to play first. But being ready to play and learning defenses, this isn't Trey. Guys, Trey did not pick up a football for the first time last season. He's played quarterback. He understands the basics of the position. He just has to learn it at a faster pace. There's only so many things you can do on a football field. There really are. There's only so much. When they're 53 yards, you got 22 guys. There's only so much you can do. And once you understand the matrix, once you get a feel for the matrix and you understand the math, it gets easier and it slows down. And you don't get that until you get him until he gets out there.
Makes sense.
Do you feel, we were talking about this before you jumped on, I don't think you were in here yet when we were talking about it, but there's, in my opinion, like a moxie or a vibe, a way a quarterback carries himself that is very evident, like right from the jump, that they have that ability to become that leader of all the men in the locker room, the team. And you see a guy like, and Drew Lock was an example I gave of somebody that you could tell didn't have it, like from the beginning. Everybody hyped up Drew Lock when he first, entered the league. He was in Denver. People were like, this is going to be the next guy. And like, I didn't feel it with him. But do you feel like that is a true thing that you can, like, Russell Wilson had it from the jump. You knew it. Mahomes had it from the jump.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson, Zach Wilson has it. You know it. The way the guy carries himself, the way he looks, the way he everything.
I disagree with you about Zach Wilson, but we can move on.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I don't know about
well,
Wilson.
Jets. I think you have a problem with the Jets in general.
No, I don't have a problem with the Jets. I just don't think I don't think Zach Wilson has that thing that everyone else does. But I do agree with you. Guys have that, and you can sense it, and you can feel it. Drew Lock. You mentioned Drew Lock. Denver lost their mind. I was talking to some guys there when he first got drafted and everything that was happening, and they asked me, what did I think about Drew Lock? And I said, I think Drew Lock is a really good backup. I said, I think he could be a solid backup for you. Or I said, because he's got a lot to learn about the game. And I told him, I said, I think being a backup and not putting the rock in his hand, he could benefit from it because he's not ready to play. And you're just a hater and all of this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, the guy, he's not ready to play in the NFL yet.
Yeah.
All you got to do is just go out there and play, and you can see. That's just how it is. Wilson, I just know too much about Wilson personally. From guys that played with him. I know his personality. I know his personality from guys that played with him, and how he carried himself. So when your teammates say, and opponents that have played against you and been on the field and talk, and they don't think you have that thing, it's hard for me to believe you have that thing.
But aside from Wilson, so the theory in general. Do you feel Trey? I feel Trey has exactly what we're describing. Do you feel like, just from a defensive player looking at a quarterback and all your years of looking, do you feel like that part is there? Now it's just up to the talent, or do you? Because I see a leader.
Yes, I do. And I saw someone on here earlier. They were like, "Well, Russell." They said something about whether Jamarcus Russell. They were like, Jamarcus Russell had played football his life. When I made that comment about playing football. Guys, Jamarcus Russell also didn't work at it. He didn't care about it.
Lazy.
So that's the part. So I think Trey has that thing. And remember, Trey has done nothing. This is another thing that I think is very important. Trey's won. I think it's important for a quarterback to be accustomed to winning. I like when quarterbacks come from winning, and people say it doesn't matter. It's the Jay Cutler thing to me. Jay Cutler didn't win in high school. He didn't win in college. He got in the NFL. Again, could spin the ball. He may have thrown the prettiest ball the league has ever seen, but he couldn't win.
Yeah, it's a whole different. You're right.
He couldn't convince people because he didn't have that thing in his head that you're talking about, Smitty. He didn't have it. He didn't believe it.
Yeah.
So it's not. I hope. It's got to be in you, man. It's just one of those things. And when that dude walks into the room, you know when he has that thing. That's kind of how I feel about old boy up at the Eagles, man. I was in a room with him. I was in a room with him when he came through and he was talking to, and just his presence and his aura and all the stuff. I like Hurts, but Hurts just didn't have that quarterback thing.
Wow, he doesn't have that.
I just didn't feel it. I didn't see it. Okay. And that could just be me. But I didn't feel it when he came through. And there are some guys when they walk in and when you see it, when you're like, okay. Even Cam Newton, back in the day, Cam Newton, when Cam came in and Cam sat there and you were talking to Cam, and when that kid would leave, you'd be like, all right, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Regardless. Now, Cam's problem is that he never worked on his mechanics. And, and I said that. Cam, if you go back and you look at film, Cam's lower body and his mechanics never got better from his second year on. He was the same guy. So that's why that's why he would throw the ball all over the place. That's why Alex Smith had problems early on. Until you get your lower body established for a quarterback, the ball's going to fly all over the place. But
yeah, that's true.
again, I'm going all over the place, man. I start talking football with you guys.
We love it though, man. But you're
we
right.
love everywhere.
That mentality, if you're a winner, you're always going to have that in you. And you're right with Trey. Like, you could just tell he's putting in the work. He's got that work ethic, just the way he speaks, and you could tell he wants it. And I feel like he kind of commands like respect when he walks into the room. And I think that's what you look for at a quarterback, because they're going to lead you. They're going to be the guy that's the head of the huddle, and you're looking for them. So if you don't have that, nobody's going to listen to you. All those guys are getting paid millions of dollars. Why would they want to listen to this guy if he doesn't have that vibe to him? So you're right. I think that's very important.
And you feel it, man. But that's also, gosh, that's also why they followed Jimmy.
Yeah.
As much as people hate to hear it, Jimmy's a winner. He's a winner, and he believes he's gonna win, and he instills that into the other guys within the huddle. He doesn't have the same talent.
Yeah.
We all know that. He doesn't have the same physical talent that Trey does. So in theory, the Niners, they should be just fine, because the rest of the team is still the rest of the team. They're good.
Yeah.
So they should be, they're supposed to be upgrading this position. So I think they're going to be fine, man. I'm looking forward to this year.
I'm hyped up, man.
I can't wait.
Yeah. I'm excited.
You're coming.
Get us excited in here anyway.
Yeah. Well, fellas, I'm going to get back and let you do your thing, and I'm going to talk. My son just texted me, and I'm going to holler at him, but I'll keep watching, and I'll try to stay out of the way.
No,
you guys know how I get.
Stay out of the way.
Every now and then, you guys say something that's just so smart. It's so smart. I'm like, I gotta let them know. I agree.
Gotta let us know. Debo, Smitty, he always has these gems, so he drops these gems sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there we go.
All right, folks. Keep an eye on us. All right.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Take care. The legend Eric Davis, an honorary member.
Yeah, he's like the correspondent of the Quad Box. Like he comes in, once a show, almost, or every other show, and just like we have him out in the field. It's good.
It's good, man, because he's got like inside. Yo, he was dropping tea on your boy Zach Wilson.
Seriously.
Give me the tea. I was like, holy smokes, that was good stuff, man. And
that was interesting.
It is
Zach Wilson.
And he made a very good point, and it's kind of going back to what we were talking about at the beginning of this video, is does the guy have the it factor? Like you said, you can sometimes just feel the aura of a player when you're like in their presence. You're like, oh, this guy's just got it. And I think Trey has that, or at least I hope he does, because that's what you want out of your quarterback. Because because a quarterback, it's a hard position to play, as we all know. These guys are, you go in that huddle. Look at the guys in the huddle. You got these like world-class receivers, unbelievable, like big linemen. Like, you have to get them to listen to you and buy into you and tell them, like, with confidence. You have to look them in the eye and say, look, this is the play. You line up here. If this happens, you have to tell them what to do, and they are looking at you. And if you are not confident, they are not going to play for you. It's like a manager of any, business or anything. If you don't have your employees believing in you, they don't give a shit. They're going to leave you out to dry. The linemen aren't going to block you. They're not going to protect you. Your receivers aren't going to get open for you, and your tight ends aren't going to do their job for you. Like, so it's a whole it's a whole process of, can they trust the guy that's at the helm? And if they don't, it's a bad situation. And there's been quarterbacks, they've been hung out to dry because their players don't believe in them. And I think Trey has that mentality. He has that vibe. I think they're going to believe in him. Kittle's already talked about him. Debo's talked nice about him. Brandon like every time Trey Lance posts something, Brandon Ayuk has it in his story. Like, those two are BFFs for life. Like, it's great. And they have a lot of young players, like I said, that have been, drafted at the same time as Trey, and they're building this relationship so they can believe and trust in Trey, because they are going to be brought into the league together. Like Aaron Banks, Trey Sermon, Ty Davis-Price, like, they have been drafted within the same 2 years, and I think they're going to buy into what Trey has. And then the Niners did a good job with getting a lot of young talent. So I'm excited for it, man.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
wait. And it's just like you said, like when you have a player where the other players believe in him, and you see it a lot where you have the talent and the guys around them aren't there and they fall short. That's why it sucks a lot when they have the people around them stepping up and making plays, and then you have that player that everyone believes in and build up fall short. We know what we're talking about. It's just it's a tough. I think Trey is gonna be a breath of fresh air to a lot of these guys on offense. I think when you have a kid that has this kind of ability and he's so young, like the guys that are vets on this team, they're gonna see that and dude, like if you've been on this team for a couple of years and now you see this guy come in with his capabilities and his ability on with his arm, with his legs, there's no way you're not gonna elevate your game. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way you're not going to be like hyped to go into battle with this guy and go and try to win something. And you know what I'm saying? Like that's where the ceiling is really like, it really is the sky is the limit, because if everyone else around him can reach their like peak, bro, you just that Houston Texans game. He just like the lasers he was throwing downfield. Let the kid develop a little bit. The hate is crazy. Anyone that's hating, you're absolutely insane. The dude's 22 years old. Let him live. Let him live his life. But like, you want him to be good, because
Yeah.
then the
While
Niners.
people are praying for him to be bad, like hoping that he's bad or saying he's gonna be a bust, you want to support like that's me. I want to support him, and at the end of the day, like we sit here and like Eric Davis said, like you can't tell us that Jimmy didn't have command of the locker room. Like I respected him, I supported the guy as much as I could, but now it's Trey Lance era, and I think we got to accept it. I think people in society just don't like change in general, and now it's a whole new system, and they're afraid. Oh my God, they're skeptical, like some people say. They just don't know what to expect because there has been years of oh my God, mediocrity, even worse than mediocrity, where they lost big game, 2-win season. And I think people are scared that that's what's going to happen. But I think that it's not, because again, we have a great team around Trey, and he's only going to get better as the time comes. And again, there's just so much talent on this team. Like, it's hard for me to believe that they're going to lose so many games just because you have a young quarterback. Like, that's, to me, it's a bad excuse. Just because you have a young quarterback doesn't mean it's going to be a bad year, because a lot of players start like, well, you got to start somewhere, right? He's not going to, you can't magically make him a 32-year-old veteran in the league. He's 22 years old, and he's going to get better and learn. And this is where he's at. You drafted him, you put in a lot of stock to get him, and this is it. Next man up. I want to get to this question from my man SF Flood. Guy always has good questions. Elijah Mitchell, is he going to be able to repeat from last year? I think if he stays healthy, he is, because this guy was I could only see, again, just like Trey Lance, the more reps he gets, the better I think he's going to get, because he knows the scheme. I think he knows the lanes better. I think Elijah Mitchell going to have a phenomenal year, but the question is, can he stay healthy? He did miss 6 games, and he was a rookie thrown into the fire, and he handled it well. He had the best rookie season any running back for the 49ers has ever had. That's pretty damn amazing, because they've had some pretty damn good running backs, through their careers. Frank Gore, right? Like, he had a better career rookie season than Frank Gore and other players that have been on this team. Right? Roger Craig, there's been some absolutely amazing running backs on this team, and Elijah Mitchell was just hands down incredible. Can he repeat? I think he can, but the key always is staying healthy. This guy was so nice with it, and I think with the addition of Ty Davis Price, and hopefully Trey Sermon takes that step this year, that leap this year, with those guys, and Jeff Wilson Jr. rotating with him, I think he doesn't have to be that 20 carry a game guy. I think he can play that Raheem Mostert role, and me and Smitty were saying this the other day. You can play that Raheem Mostert role, give you 12 carries, and be that home run threat, like, holy crap, big play, 60-yard touchdown, like something like that. And I think Elijah Mitchell will have a phenomenal. And you know, the other thing about Elijah is he was good after contact, like in the second level of the defense. He was better as he got, you know, hit and touched, right? Just like Najee Harris. Those two guys were neck and neck in terms of yards after contact, right? So I think they're both physical guys that have that speed, and he's underrated with his physical skills. I love guys, absolutely.
Yeah, Davis Price is last year's Mitchell. Like,
Yeah.
not saying that Mitchell's going to lose his job necessarily to him or something, but Mitchell to Sermon was that must cuff, like, especially if like, you're talking fantasy, like Mitchell was the key because he was such a good safety net and probably the better player. I'm not saying that Davis Price is better than Mitchell, but he's maybe better at the things that you're asking Mitchell to do that is hard for Mitchell to stay healthy doing.
Yeah.
Mitchell very much is that guy that if he's on the field getting 12 to 15 carries in the ways you gave Mostert carries, he'll rip off those 100-yard in a TD games off 14, 15 carries.
Yeah.
So it's like Mitchell can't be ultra efficient doing less, and Davis Price up the gut, you know, getting 12 to 15 carries. Like, you could literally, with Trey Lance running the ball as many times as he's going to run, you guys could be getting like well over 38 to 40.
You're going to have 40 carry games, Smitty.
Like over 40. You know, there'll be so much.
He's going to be that guy that just goes, pounds the tackles, pounds the guard, just pounds it in between, you know, the linemen and gets those hard-nosed rushing yards and, you know, takes that contact and takes it away from Mitchell, because I think last year Mitchell taking that beating, you know, running in between the line, it took a toll on him. And I think, like you said, if you scale him back, run him 12 times a game, and it's just those big-time zone runs, I mean, get him to the outside, just let him bounce it outside and use that speed off the edges. That's what we want from Elijah Mitchell. Let him use that speed and take off, and let Ty Davis Price wear down the defensive line. Just let him, you know, push himself, and because he's like a fucking bowling ball. This guy can take contact, and then once he gets hit, he can keep going. Like, this guy's underrated. I absolutely love the Ty Davis Price move because it fits Shanahan's offense. He's a run-first guy. If you're going to run the ball 40 times, you need a guy that can hold the rock and carry it for 15, 20 times a game. He's going to sit there, take a lot of contact, take a lot of carries, and then you have guys that could bounce it outside like Elijah Mitchell. Then then there's two wild cards. Jeff Wilson Jr., how healthy can he be this year? And I love Jeff Wilson. Great in the goal line situation, in the red zone situations. You know, then you got him. And then Trey Sermon. If Trey Sermon takes a leap this year, sky's the limit for this guy. I love Trey Sermon. And I just think that last year, rookie season, you know, he didn't really get a chance. And I think with Anthony Lynn there is going to help him out in the run game. So those are your four running backs. Yeah, I didn't mention someone. We all know who it is. He ain't coming. Yeah, Jermichael Hasty, he gone.
Hey, guys, I'm going to jump and go to do some dinner stuff. So I'm going to end the YouTube live, and then I'm going to jump out of the IG live. But I want to appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody who did jump on YouTube. Give it a like. Go watch the replay on YouTube. This is the whole thing's on YouTube. So go.
Yeah, we're going to go check out the YouTube. City, appreciate you. I'm probably going to bounce too. Go check out. I got merch now. I got my shop is open. Y'all go get some merch. Go get some Trey Lance merch. Trey area shirts. Go.
Hey, tell YouTube where they can get your merch, Raj.
YouTube, where can we get my merch?
Link it.
My bio. Link is in the bio.
Instagram.
Link it.
Or, go to RSF 49ers. Click on the link in his bio. That is where you can find Raj's.
Here's the new design. Check it. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of hard to see it with the phone. It's nice. Check out the designs. It's hard to see it. Go on my bio. Yeah, sorry.
RSF 49ers, if you're on YouTube, go check it out.
Just go right on the bio.
Link in my bio. And if you go to my page, there is a view shop button on the top. You'll see a view shop. Click on the shop. There's some Trey Lance merchandise. We got more stuff cooking in the works. We're gonna make some merch this year. We got to make a lot of merch this year.
Appreciate you guys. All right, and in YouTube. See you later.
They said they need a 5 Storms Coming shirt. Why haven't I been on that yet? We got 5 Storms shirt merch dropping soon. Let's go.
Later, guys. Appreciate you.
Take care, my man.
Later, dude.
Any final thoughts, Vladdy?
I'm just excited for the season, man. I'm excited to see what this kid's capable of, and I don't understand why anyone's hating on him. Just let the man cook.
It's silly, bro.
Let him cook. You remember what you guys did to Jalen Hurd? Don't do that.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. I don't know why people hate the man. It's just weird, man. It's just weird. Like I said today, pray for the uprise and not for the downfall. I'm excited
Yo.
for the young man. He's just a 22-year-old kid. Like the other day, he posted a picture of him wearing some designer. He's just happy to have designer clothes, man. He's 22 years old. Let Lance dance. Exactly.
He was on the floor. He had floor seats to the Golden State Warriors game. Like, come on.
Come on, his birthday, bro. Like that must have been an amazing birthday, man. I love the guy.
Listen, cheers to Trey Lance. Trey Lance, bro, let's go. This year's your year, bro. Don't even think about the haters. Just go out there and do what you know you can do. That's it.
Yeah.
Raj, I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you this week.
No doubt. Take care. Have a good rest of your day and have a good weekend. Yeah. Any other final thoughts here by any of you people here? Thanks for the badge. Love you guys. Thanks for the support. Let's see. He says, "Okay, I give up. Y'all gonna hear about me later. I hope I hear about you later, baby. Let's go." Any final thoughts here as we wind down? I gotta make some dinner. My daughter's gonna kick my ass here probably. Hungry. She's probably hungry. The new merch is fire. Appreciate you. Shout out to Eric Davis. Always appreciate you coming in. If you miss Eric Davis, we are going to have this on the YouTube live on the Quad Box YouTube. Go check out Smitty's. I think it's linked in Smitty's bio. But appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Have a good rest of your weekend. And well, it's not the weekend yet. Friday tomorrow. What else we got? Basketball. I need to watch the second half of this Miami Heat Boston game. I'm missing it. Tomorrow, Warriors, Dallas. What do you guys think? Who's winning tomorrow? Warriors or Dallas? Warriors or Dallas? Who's winning tomorrow? Tell me. You tell me. Who's winning tomorrow? Warriors winning tomorrow? Warriors in 5? Warriors in 4? What's happening tomorrow? Let me know in the comments before we leave. Who we got tomorrow? Warriors. We got Warriors. You got more people. There we go. Here come the comments. You missed the show. Unfortunately, we came on a little earlier today. YouTube. It's on YouTube. Smitty will have it on YouTube. We'll link it later. Dallas. My man Luka, though. Luka's cold-blooded. He needs help. Luka needs some help. Warriors 4-2. I want to go to one of these games. If y'all have hookups, let your boy know. Have a good night.